Today we have a driving test leaving from the Shirley Test Centre. The Shirley Test Centre is known as one of the slightly easier ones in Birmingham compared to King's Standing and South Yardley. There are a few challenges which you face straight away. For example, it's quite a strange place to start a driving test, however they don't have a dedicated car park. If you decide to use Shirley with friends or family, make sure you get there quite early to make sure you have a good starting space. He's been asked to turn right here and get stuck here for quite a while simply because it's an extremely busy road. There's not always safe appropriate gaps to take. He finally finds a safe gap and he enters onto the new road. He's been told at the roundabout he needs to turn left, so he checks his mirrors and moves across into the left-hand lane. This is a very small double-laned roundabout. He keeps to the left nicely. Down this road the revs got quite high. They got to about 4,000 plus at some points, so here he picked up a minor fault. He's been asked to take the next road on the left and then the next road on the right. This is very similar to a route that's on Garrett's Green. He signalled for the first turn, but he didn't for the next right turn. He got a driving fault for this. There could be a lot of meeting situations down this road. As you can see, we've got cars all parked up on the left. If cars do start to come towards us, it's going to start to get very tight. So as you're driving down this road, always be looking for gaps to the left that you may be able to move into. With the oncoming car, there was enough room for us both to fit, but as he squeezed over to the left, he didn't check how close he was to the vehicles. Anytime you move to the left or right, you must look in that direction before you move. At the moment the car is in third gear. He's got the clutch down so it's not stalling, but when he goes to edge forwards more, the car stalls because it's in third. The car behind's been extremely patient as he tries to get things moving again. He does miss a very large opportunity to move, so gets a fault for minor hesitation. If you do stall the car in your test, try not to panic. Simply restart the car as quickly as you can, check to your left and right and make sure it's still safe to continue on the path you are going. He's now been asked to pull up on the left. When pulling up, you must look for a safe, convenient and legal place. Unless they say otherwise, make sure you never block driveways. A lot of things could have been done better here. None of the over-shoulder checks were done, and also he moves off when the pedestrians were right next to him. The serious fault here was for observations. At this roundabout, my learner was asked to take the second left. They completely missed their exit, however they went straight ahead safely, using all the correct signals and mirrors, so they did not pick up a fault here. As they went around this turn, they did not check to their right. Fortunately the roads were clear, otherwise it could have been a different situation altogether. Now it's time for everyone's favourite manoeuvre, pulling up on the right and reversing 2 cars' lengths. Manoeuvres are marked on 3 things: control, observations and accuracy. There was a nice, good, controlled pace here, however the observations were mainly focusing on the mirror. Notice how he doesn't stop when cars are passing him on this side. If there are any vehicles coming towards you, you must hold back, wait for them to pass and then carry on your manoeuvre. When they're about 4 to 5 cars lengths away, that's when it would be good to stop, wait for them to pass you and then resume as normal, making sure you check to your left and right before you continue. Because most of the observations were just in the right in the mirror, he picks up a serious fault here. He's been asked to take the next road on the right, which as you can see is quite a difficult one because to the left there's multiple turnings joining onto that road. He picks a suitable gap and he doesn't get too close to the car parked up on his left. He's now been asked to take the second left again. This time he does it correctly. Coming up is a tricky one. It's the Robin Hood roundabout. It's got traffic lights from certain angles and is quite hard to join due to the busyness of the road. Here you must be ready to take your gap when it appears, otherwise you might be stuck there for a very long time. He enters into the correct lane for the right turn, and then the last exit before his, he must check his mirrors and move back over to the left. It's roughly at this point you would do all your mirror checks and move over to the far left lane if it was safe to do so. You can come off in the right lane, but that might put you in some added pressure if other cars are behind you, and the normal driving lane is the left lane, unless yours is blocked by parked vehicles, buses, etc. When he does move back over to the right lane, he doesn't use a mirror check as he moves over. He's now remaining in the right lane. There was quite a big long stretch where he could have moved over to the left. He's now going to put himself under more pressure as cars will start appearing in the left-hand lane, making it harder to move across. He's realised he's still in the right hand lane, does all the correct checks and then moves back over to the left hand lane. At the next roundabout, he's going straight ahead and he has amazing positioning on approach to this roundabout, making sure he stays within his lane. The approaching high street can be a tough one. The lights are constantly changing with pedestrians and there's cars constantly moving into your lane. I always say the hardest light to approach is a green light, and this road shows that perfectly. You don't know when they're going to change, so one approach to a green light, slightly reduce your speed if they have been green for a while and be prepared to stop, if it's safe to do so. It looks like they were blocking the drive here. However, from the back seat where I was sitting, you can see there was just about enough room to not go down as a fault. Going around this roundabout, the clutch was kept down. This is classed as coasting, and it's not allowed as it can be classed as dangerous. It can change the speed and steering and how the car works. He's been asked to take the next road on the right. He doesn't try to squeeze over to the other side of the road, he waits until the road clears up and then he positions himself correctly. Because there was already two cars waiting in the junction, he waited behind the line. This is something you should always do, just so you don't end up getting stuck in the middle of the crossroads. With the approaching roundabout, it can always be quite busy depending on the time of day that you go, because the shops to the right are very popular. On the approaching roundabout, the left lane is for straight ahead. He should be sticking to the hard left of the roundabout, instead he cuts directly through the middle. Here he should be more positioned to the left, to straight away come off into the left-hand lane. No fault was marked down here, however with the black car, if they had been in the left-hand lane it could have been a different story. On the next roundabout, positioning is key. There's two lanes straight ahead. You must stick to the very left if you are in the left-hand lane. For you eagle-eyed viewers, you'll notice that there is a bus broken down in the left-hand lane. He should start checking his mirrors now and start planning moving over to the right. I don't quite think he's seen it as he stays in this lane for quite a while and waits to move over. And he's now stopped on a pedestrian crossing. He hasn't got his signals on just yet, so none of the other cars are going to let him move in. It's roughly about now his signals were put on to give his intention to move across. The black car that you see behind actually flashed at this point to let him move across. He now puts the car into the wrong gear and stalls. The black car sees it as hesitancy, so then changes his mind. He's now missed a clear gap and had another minor. He goes to move to the right now, however if you look at the camera to the rear you'll notice there's a car there. The examiner had to take control to stop him moving into the blue BMW. The silver car's now been beeping for a while and every now and then he's waving his hands around. I'd never condone this kind of behaviour, it will just make learners panic and it won't help anyone. He's now on his last stretch of his test after a very difficult run. He's been asked to take the next turn on the right. Getting into the test centre could be quite tricky. This is a normal box junction where he should be given priority to oncoming cars. For some reason he goes to move out now even though there's an oncoming vehicle. That could quite easily have been a collision. There's currently no steer on at all to the right and you can't see just how close it is to the Audi in front. Again, the examiner takes control because he can see that no steer was being applied, we would have hit the Audi. One thing to remember about driving tests is they're very different to real life driving. You may be able to make a car go forward and backwards, but the driving test is about much more than that. Under the pressure, a lot of good experienced drivers can crumble when you've got a stranger sat next to you that you're not used to. In a situation like this, I'd recommend taking their test again in another 6 months at least.